Hello guys, it's me V Clifto bringing you a guide to Blitzcrank. I'm gonna start off with this video stating that Blitzcrank is a very situational support. Like, he's very good with certain champions, and otherwise he would be very weak with others. And that's my input, or that's what my thought is on Blitzcrank. So I wouldn't say Blitzcrank is the best support to play with a lot of champions. There's a lot of good Blitzcranks, and it's kind of frustrating to play against a good Blitzcrank. I kind of start off this game pretty bad, but I ended off the game doing decent, doing pretty well. But like Blitzcrank, like I said, is very good with certain teams. Looking at this comp that I play with this game, it's not the best. My bot lane's pretty good, but like the rest of the champions on my team aren't really the best to play with Blitzcrank, but we make it work and we end up winning the game at the end. So I'm gonna start off by explaining Blitzcrank's abilities, and then I'll go into the build and a little bit of how to play him. Blitzcrank's passive is Mana Barrier. When you drop below 20% health, Blitzcrank consumes 50% of his mana and turns it into a shield, which, you know, that's pretty. I mean, it's all right. My build, it doesn't really take advantage of it too much. I mean, if you built a mana or what's a blue build, yeah, I guess you could be really tanky. You get tanky mana items. You could be pretty good at like just being a really good tank, and then like really hard to kill because you just get in the fight. Then when you drop below 20% health, you would just have even more of a shield. So, like, yeah, I guess that would be very good. But I've seen it happen. It's kind of frustrating if they have a big mana build. But my build's not really built around mana. It is a good little shield at the end. At least in my build, it's kind of just a good shield to get out if you can. But that's pretty much it. It doesn't do too much in game except for giving you that shield. And it has a cooldown. Every 90 seconds it will allow you to reactivate it. So I did get a cheeky first blood kill with my Q ability, but yeah, so the Q ability is Rocket Grab, and what happens is you send out your arm and it will pull champions, minions. It won't pull many. It'll pull some of the monsters. It won't pull the big dragon and baron, but it'll pull minions and stuff to you. So what you want to use with this ability is you want to be able to pull a champion toward your ADC to allow them to deal damage to them, or pull them to your whole team. Pulling one person, I will explain a little bit later how it's very helpful in different team comps and team fights, but very good ability. It pulls them right to you really quick, so you can pull them out of position. One good tactic, and I will leave a little clip of another game I play, where if you pull them into a tower, like, you can just get kills by using the tower to kill people. And the best way to get, my brother's done it a couple times, but is you can even pull them into the Nexus to get a few kills. Like, if they're at the end of the game and you just want to you're like, oh, who cares? I'm just gonna pull champions into the Nexus to kill them. It's kind of funny. So I mean, that's a nice tactic, is to use your terrain to help you out when to, I guess, get free kills. So then let's go into that would probably be the point you want to put your first point into, and you'll be maxing your Q to get a little bit less of a cooldown. It will increase the mana cost, or I think it does. I know it reduces the cooldown, but it will reduce the cooldown, so it'll allow you to pull a lot often. It is probably the best one to do in lane, because it will improve the damage on it. Does a bit of damage. It scales pretty hard too. It will scale a 1-to-1 scaling. So if you have 1 AP, it will give it 1 extra bonus damage on that spell. So it is a very decent damage spell if you build AP. Your next ability you want to probably put a point into is your E, which is Power Fist. You hit the enemy into the air, which it's a bit of a CC since they can't control their body while they're in the air. It does do whatever your AD is at the time, it will do double your AD. So I guess you could build an AD build with Blitzcrank. I've not really done it, but I guess it is possible to do. I mean, but it will do bonus damage. It will do a lot of damage, but it's mainly for the CC. So you would pull them in, and then you just knock them up so that they are constantly they're having a hard time getting away from your ADC, which is like bursting them down in a few shots. So it's a very decent ability. Then you would probably put a point into your W, which is overdrive, which gives you a little bit of a speed up and movement speed, but it also will give you an attack speed boost. So I guess if you did build an AD build, you could just go whack, 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 whack. You can just keep punching them to death. Decent ability. I mean, it's very helpful. Later in the game, it helps you out to catch up to enemies. You want to probably be maxing your E second to get a little bit extra damage and a little bit less of a cooldown so that you can keep using it to knock people up in the fight. Your ultimate is static field. There's two parts to it. First part is that passively, lightning will just attack minions and champions around the area if you have not activated your ability. If you have the ability up, it will just shock. So this can be a problem sometimes because you can take minions from your ADC. I mean, it's not gonna be a big deal. You're gonna take one minion or something, or what I've had happen is accidentally taking a buff. You can also take kills with it. It's not a high damage, but it is enough to can sometimes steal kills and minions and buffs. It's kind of funny when it happens. Not many people pay attention too much to it, but it does it every so often around you. Will hit a minion or something. The active on it is you do a 360 area of effect damage. It scales actually really well with that 1-to-1 scaling. So if you have one ability power, it will scale up 1 damage extra. So it even without upgrading it does do a bit of damage. The second part of activating it is it does give you a silence. This is very good to stopping ultimates, stopping things from happening that may happen. For example, like a Katarina ult, you can stop the Katarina ult with it. You can stop if Fiddlesticks is about to use his ultimate. If you just run over and ult him real quick, it will stop his ultimate. It's a pretty good ability because also if you pull him in, you can use your ultimate to stop them from flashing away because then they can't use their flash. Pretty good ability. Later on in the build, you'll see me do it 30 times this game. But it can also help you get very big waves of CS if you have a lot of ability power. So let's start off with the build. I start off with the Ancient Coin, a few health pots. The Ancient Coin is very good because you're not gonna be able to. You want your ADC to CS to get enough CS, and every time they CS, or the minion dies near you, it will give you a bit of gold. Pretty good way to keep you into the fight so that you can keep gaining gold, to build later into the build. That is not the main reason why we want to build this item. We want to actually get the final form of it to get the active on it, which is very nice. It turns into the Talisman of Ascension, which if you activate it, it gives you and champions around you a speed boost so that you can speed up maybe a teammate. It will allow you to get in range to pull a lot of champions. It will give you the gold, of course, so you are gaining that gold while minions and stuff are dying near you. But it's really good for the active. It also gives you a bunch of good passives like bonus mana regen and health regen because your abilities do cost a lot of mana, and you will run out of mana if you don't have any mana regen. So it's a very good item. You'll start seeing me now build toward. You're seeing me build AP. Typically, most Blitzcranks will build a damage build, a tankier build, so that you pull them in and you're just kind of sitting there tanking so that you don't die. I don't like that build. Personally, I don't. The reason why is because I find you to be not very. I mean, it's kind of like all you do is pull and then you're done. You've done your job, and I kind of like to have my Blitzcrank to be able to do more, and who doesn't like kills, so I build ability power so that you're allowed to help burst champions down, so later in team fights if you get a pull, then you can pull them toward your team, and then you can easily help them secure the kill. Very good. So I build a Rabadon's Deathcap second item, and I mean, I guess that's kind of that may be awkward for a few people, but like I said, a bunch of your abilities scale really hard or really strong with ability power. So having that ability power will allow you to CS clear waves by using your ultimate, and also to allow you to burst other champions. So I build the Rabadon's Deathcap, gives you really good mana, so that you're allowed to help your ADC get even farther by bursting champions. Your main role as Blitzcrank is to help get your ADC fed, but when I make my builds, my second build, or when I start building toward my second role, I help build toward bursting champions down, or help bursting one champion down, so that we can easily win team fights. So what I buy next is I would usually buy a DFG, but they're getting rid of DFG, so I don't really want this build. I build it in this game. I sadly don't activate it ever. Like, I don't know why I never activate it. It would help me a lot, but I guess I forgot to activate it. But that would be normally, but that's just to get the extra AP. The active is very nice with Blitzcrank if you can activate it. Really use your ultimate just to, like, you'll half health almost any champion. So, man, I guess it's worth buying, but since they're getting rid of it, can't really use it. The third item, I normally, so to replace the DFG, building a Zhonya's Hourglass would be a very good item. It gives you that AP, and it'll also give you that stasis so that you won't die right away. Help you stay alive in team fights, because you're going to be not tanky like most people believe Blitzcrank should be built. I don't like building him that way, so I build him. It'll give you a little bit of tanky AD armor, stats, but it's really good for that stasis and also the ability power. Thirdly, I would build on him is a Lich Bane. It's very good because once you pull him in, your auto attack will deal damage, and then your ult, and then you auto attack, which will deal a lot of damage, and then you hit your E, and then you hit him again, and you'll just melt any person you pull in. So getting that Lich Bane will be very helpful to help you burst down champions, 1v1 certain champions. At this point, I start getting a little bit fed. That's just how it's going to be. Is Blitzcrank will eventually get fed because you can CS really well. I end up this game with like 200 CS and I'm behind. Like I'm a ADC. Like I'm a support. I should start off with like very little CS. End up getting a lot of CS by using my ultimate. So after the Lich Bane, I start building So now, after you build the Lich Bane, that's pretty much your core damage, that's pretty much all your max ability power that you're gonna have. Without the DFG, I was starting to think about what items to replace it. The first item that came to mind is a Crystal Scepter. It will give you a decent amount of ability power. A little bit. It's not as much as DFG, but give you some ability power. It'll also give you a pretty good area of effect slow. So if you are in the middle of like 3 champions, it will deal a lot of damage, but it also will slow them, allowing your team to really kill the champion, to kill the target. Another good item I said that would replace DFG would be a Void Staff, so that if they're building magic resist to stop you from dealing so much damage, you will go through that magic resist. Help you burst other champions, probably easier to 1v1 champions if you had a Void Staff. Not the necessary item, but pretty good. It's between Crystal Scepter and the Void Staff, depending on how the game is going. And you would probably round off your build with a Sorcerer's Boots to give you that pin. Also, you can get Ionian Boots to give you the cooldown reduction. It all depends on what you want. Sometimes I would build the Ionian Boots. Sometimes I would build the Sorcerer's Shoes. I guess a third boots you could get is I guess movement speed, the boots of swiftness, so that you can just keep moving really quickly to get to team fights or to catch people. I guess it's not very needed, because once you have the talisman and you have your E to speed you up, you go pretty fast. There's not that many people that can outrun you. I mean, yeah, there's people that I guess can run over walls, so I mean, you're probably not going to catch them anyway, even if you have boots of swiftness. But you can get either of those 3 boots and you'll do pretty well. This game, I was playing with a friend and he just started goofing off. Like, he stopped caring, which kind of upsetted me. I was trying to get him to stop doing that, but he just kept he was just doing whatever he wanted to do. Kind of whatever. I don't know. He's just weird. He's kind of the reason why we almost lose, sadly. But hopefully, I mean, he just kind of didn't care. But I did do my job and got my ADC, Quinn, very fed. So now we're going to start off with, like, who should you lane with? You want to lane with bursty ADCs. And that's, like, ADCs that work really well with their spells, that deal like a lot of damage real quick, instead of it being, yeah, you do a lot of damage, or, I mean, there is, like, you know, early game, it would be like an early game ADC, an ADC that does like a lot of damage early to help you out, to an ADC that would do a lot of early damage. But probably I like thinking of a bursty ADC, like ADCs that work really well with their spells to give them bonus damage. Like Twitch would be a very bad choice because he's not very bursty. He's very auto-attacking champion that doesn't do a lot with his spells. His spells don't do a massive amount of damage. It's more of his auto-attacking doing damage, so it's kind of, he'd be a bad choice. Twitch would be, not Twitch, a Jinx would be an alright choice. Like, I mean, yeah, once you pull them, you can throw the traps down so you can constantly do damage. But if you're thinking of actual bursty champion, I wouldn't say Jinx would even be in there. Those are a couple bad ones. Varus would be, I find Varus would probably be a bad champion to play with Blitzcrank. So there are a few very good ones, and Quinn is one of them because she works really well with her abilities, and that's why this game goes pretty well, because if I pull them in, Quinn can easily destroy them with her abilities. That's early game, and late game, her auto attack, since you build a lot of crit on her, will deal a massive amounts of damage. So Quinn's very good. Another good champion that does bursty kind of damage would be a Graves. A Graves would probably be a very good champion. The first game I played with Graves, me and a Blitzcrank just wrecked. So Blitzcrank would be a very good champion with a Graves. Another very decent one that I was thinking about is a Vayne. If the Vayne is good. A lot of Vayne players I played with, but like if I go into a normal game and play with if they choose Vayne, normally the lane doesn't work out so well. And that's just a personal experience. I just played a Vayne game and I did awesome, but like a lot of Vayne games I play, they kind of turn out very, very bad. I mean, that's just a personal thought, is they just normally turn out bad. So, I mean, Vayne, I think, is a very high skill cap champion. So if you're really good with Vayne, yes, Blitzcrank would work well with her. There are a few other ADCs that would probably do decent, but them 3 are probably the best ADCs to work with. I guess Corki would be decent. I mean, Kog'Maw would be alright, but they're really not. They're really good at poking instead of actually being up close, which is what the other 2 champions or other 3 champions I said really good at. But you want to actually also have a team that bursts, because if you pull in a champion, 5 people will do enough damage to kill him, but you want to kill him real quick to be able to start off a 4v5 team fight, because logically, if you're 4v5ing, you should win the team fight. If you pull in the most fed, like a fed Joshua or something like that, you should win the game easily. Like, I mean, not the game, the team fight. Like, if you can pull in the guy that's fed, you have even a better chance of winning the team fight because a lot of their damage is just killed. So that's kind of what you want to aim for when you're playing Blitzcrank, is you want to pull in the high priority targets, but you want to have a bursty team. So having someone like a Katarina would actually be very good with Blitzcrank, because you can pull them in, and then you can use your ultimate if you're building AP, even if you're not building AP. If you're building a tank, like the regular build, like what most people build, if you're building that and you have a Katarina on your team, you can just pull them in, and then you ult them to like silence them, and then what does that mean? After you silence them, they can't really stop Katarina from continuing to do your damage, so she'll just burst them down to get that easy kill with her ultimate. So you want to have a very bursty team, but like this team, if you look at them, the highest burst is Quinn, and then I guess like the second highest burst would be a Rise, but like Rise isn't, this game he's not doing too well, so I guess I mean, my team's comp is alright, but the high bit of burst is Quinn. You see me get like a double kill right there, like Blitzcrank double kill. Sexy. You can carry. I've carried games as Blitzcrank. Trust me. Support Blitzcrank doesn't have to be always a support. You can be the damage, the AP damage, and also a very good CS. You get a lot of CS just playing Blitzcrank. You can just run around ulting all over the place. But yeah, so the best strategy, like I said, in lane, is to get a very bursty ADC, but like funny things to do is to pull them into towers, because towers will deal early game way more damage than any champion. You can just, if you pull them in, you can get a lot of free kills that will help you win the game. You have a lot of CC with Blitzcrank, but so I think that's a pretty decent guide. I hope you leave a description if you think, if I said anything wrong you don't agree with, you can tell me in the description. Other than that, I have what the rest of this video I want to do is two things. I don't know if I want to do with the videos. I don't know if you enjoy watching me play a full game where I do decent and like I can show off kind of how to play Blitzcrank, or would you rather me show you kind of like, if you look at the champion spotlight that Riot does, like if I did something kind of like that where I just demonstrate the abilities and like show the build, but like the whole items and like the build patterns and like show the actives and show it, like would you rather me do like a shorter clip with me just running right through what everything is, or would you rather me show a full gameplay? I mean, you gotta leave that you should leave that in the description. I will probably make the next video, I will probably just show in a video, not a gameplay, but like a kind of like my own little spotlight of the champion and like go over it, see what you think. If you like that one, maybe I can do that more often or do that instead of doing a full gameplay. But it is up to you, whichever you decide is better. It would probably be easier to do just a champion spotlight, because a lot of times you will get into games and people will troll you when you're doing well, or you have people at AFK, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes to get a video, and that's why it takes me a while to get videos. And it's just sometimes I don't like playing like this Blitzcrank. I played a lot of games. It's not that I didn't do well in the other games. It was just like I would get my ADC fed, but then someone would be like, "Oh, I'm feeding 12 kills because you didn't come and pull this one guy off me." I'm like, I can't help you all the time, and it just. But yeah, so it depends on that. And the last thing I want to talk about is that I really want to start off a YouTube team. And my YouTube team, so what I want to get is a full group of 5 people that play YouTube, or play League and do YouTube videos, that want to kind of get a stronger or longer channel, bigger group of people. So if you're interested, if you've been listening the whole video, please message me on in the description if you would like to join the team. I'd like you to have a YouTube channel and to have a decent you don't even have to have a lot of subscribers, but like if you can make videos, if you can make videos, I'd like to be able to make a few YouTube videos. I'm not going to give out what I'm doing just yet because I don't want people to copy it, but But yeah, if you want to, I guess, have your channel get bigger, but you want to play with friends that or people that play with on YouTube or play on League and make YouTube videos. So I just kind of want to make a group. So leave a message down below with maybe an email so that I can get in contact with you to make this team. So please leave a message if you want to become part of this. Want to, I guess, improve or make your YouTube channel bigger. You don't have to have that many subscribers right now. We're just going to make a group with people that are making videos and, see how it goes. So this has been VCliffdo, and I'm signing off. Stay cool, my friends.